Well, I'll go deeper into the numbers again. When you look at the Turner Conference standings, the best team at home is Rapid City this season.
Right.
The best team on the road would be the Comets. So
and the Comets won 3 out of 4 in Rapid City, which was like unheard of.
You're going. We mentioned the goalies, but you're going strength on strength a lot of times in this series when you look at the matchups.
Yeah, and then, I think the Comets, if they can steal, and I think it is a steal situation, steal one of the first two. If you're playing with 5 defensemen and you don't have Henley, you look at it as go in, play disciplined, hit, steal a game, and then come home, And if you can get that first game, boy, does the pressure really ratchet up on Rapid City then.
Do you like where the playoff system is this year for the CHL? Because last year there were more teams in the league, so they went, 8 out of the 9 teams in the conference would make the playoffs. But that 1-8 matchup, a lot different than the 1-4 matchup that we're going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks.
Well, it sure made a huge difference this year because I was trying to think yesterday. I couldn't remember the last time the last game of the regular season really, really meant something. Usually they're figure skating contests where nobody touches anybody and they're just boring as all get out. They're really quick games, but they're boring. And yesterday's game was not boring by any stretch. I mean, there was a lot of tension and a lot of expectations because of, anything could have happened, it seemed like, this weekend. And that was kind of fun to see. As for the playoff format, I don't know what you do about it. The Coliseum has Disney on Ice in, but it's like the Comet season has ended 4 different times in the last 5 years. So how do you plot out when to have these shows in? Because you need ice for it.
Right.
And these are 5-year contracts. So what do? You've already moved it twice. And then, you're kind of like just throw your hands up and say, hey, whatever happens is what it's going to happen.
Randy Brown's got to make money.
He's got no choice. And they have to have the ice. You can't say, well, why don't you have it in June? It doesn't work that way. You've got to take them when they're traveling. And it will be a pretty successful show, too.
Yeah, so break down. I'm going to Disney on Ice, by the way. Caroline wants to go. She's 15 months. She said, hey.
Hard to argue.
Yep, she put her debit card down, said, we're going to buy these tickets. So we're going there on Thursday night.
A night is sitting on Dad's lap. You can't beat it.
Well, she's got a lot more money than me, which is the sad thing about it.
Yeah, well, everybody loves her more.
That's true. Well, she's a lot cuter. You take a look at the best of 7 series. How do you see this really playing out? Because I think you're thinking the full 7 or at least 6.
I think each team will win 1 on the road. I really do. I just think it's going to be. Like you said, they are that even. They really are. The teams. I think if anything, maybe the Comets have a little bit of a psychological edge because they've done really well against Tim Boron this year, and they did well against him last year. Maybe that's the one edge. And you got to remember too. These are not the same teams as last year. I think each of them have 7 guys left from last year's playoff series. It's 7 key guys, but you really don't know how these rookies are going to show up in the playoffs until you get to the playoffs. This is not a typical Comets team from the last 4 or 5 years where you could say, okay, well, they're going to, do this and that. And there are a lot of encouraging signs on both sides. Colin Chalk is playing fantastic right now. That line with Fescivio and Auger is so much fun to watch. Frankie is playing great right now. It's just, you just got to wait and see what happens.
What's your final prediction for this series?
I think the Comets will win in 7 games. I think it'll go 7. And I think the travel will be a huge factor because there is no good way to get there. I just did my reservations for this weekend, and there is no good way to get to Rapid City from Fort Wayne. And truthfully, I think the sleeper bus might be the best option. It really might be, even though it's 20 hours, But you leave overnight, you sleep, it might actually work out, and they can get there and practice early. And I think I'd rather be doing a train ride than taking the plane that I got to take, just because it's such crazy stopovers and stuff.
What do you see as playing as the biggest factor then in a 7-game series to give the Comets the advantage?
I think, like I said, I think they have to ignore Les Rainey. I really, really think that, because if you're not prepared for him mentally, he will drive you nuts. He's like Schrock for the other team, except he's not afraid to, jab and whatever, and he always gets the retaliation penalties.
Kind of a Justin Hodgman of sorts?
Of sorts, yes, very much so. And both of them can play. They're not just out there. They're not Sean Avery. They can actually play and can score and do some things, and play hockey too.
Yeah, Leo can be a pest when he wants to be.
Leo can be a pest when he wants to be. That would be a great role for him in this series too.
All right. All right, well, we shall see. Rapid City is the destination for Friday and Saturday. Then the Comets come back starting on Wednesday for 3. We'd love to have it done by the end of the 3 in Fort Wayne, but if the predictions are correct, it looks like it's going to be a long
I think all the guys are
weeks.
looking at a long series. None of them are talking short. They're all like, oh, marathon, here we go. Another marathon.
All right, well, we'll have it all covered in another edition of Inside the Zone next Monday, but for now, he's Blake, I'm Glenn, and we'll see you next week.